Hi, I'm Ms. Lavodi, and this is part 2 of our digital continuous line portrait. In this video, we'll talk about adding color to your portraits. We're going to start by deleting our photo layers by clicking the trash icon in our layers. This will make things a little less confusing. So when you tap on a photo layer, you're going to click the gear icon and then you're going to click to delete so we can remove our 3 photos. Next, we're going to use the move cursor to transform, move, or scale our portraits so that way you can space them out. So overlapping is still encouraged for this, but you basically just tap the gear icon in the layer and then you can drag and move your portrait wherever you'd like, and you can pinch it to enlarge it. So it's nice to have like kind of a bigger portrait than a smaller, maybe smaller portrait, and it's nice to have them overlapping a little bit. Next, we can merge these 3 portraits into one layer by dragging that layer directly over and then releasing the hold. This will merge the 2 images together. So now I can drag this layer on top of that last one, merge, and now I have one layer with all of my portrait drawings. To start with color, we still want a new layer, but this time we want to drag it underneath our line drawing. So our color will be underneath and the lines will stay above the color, so that way we do not lose the line work we just did. As always, we want to make sure we're painting on a separate layer. We don't want to paint on the same layer as your line drawing. Now you're going to be ready to try the watercolor brush. Watercolor brush is like the 7th brush down, and it has a lot of brush options when you click on it. Your color picker is in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and it has 2 columns, so that way you can pick 2 colors. Sometimes it's nice to have a light and a dark, and then when you tap the middle, you can blend the 2 colors together. So here I have a dark blue and a light blue, and in the in-between, I can grab colors that I like that blend together. You can choose to make your portraits any colors that you want. They don't have to be realistic skin tones. So I'm using a cool color scheme for the face of the portrait, and then I'm adding warm colors to the hair, and I'm using a contrasting color for the clothing or shirt. Notice that with watercolor brush, I didn't completely fill in every space totally solid. There are some little white gaps, and that's okay. I recommend making another layer to place under your line drawing again, so that way you aren't coloring on top of the same color layer. It's just good to keep things separate. So this portrait, I can do a different color scheme because I want the portrait to stand out a little differently. I want to be able to see each of the 3 portraits when I add color. So for this one, I'm gonna work with a more natural skin tone, and I'm still letting the color kind of be blocked in. This time, if you notice, I'm using the acrylic brush or the other square paintbrush there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brushes down. You can also toggle over to your eraser tool if you color outside of your lines. And remember, you can use the back arrow button in the upper left-hand corner to undo something that you want to change. I like painting the individual shapes that I created in the portrait with different colors, so it highlights each of the different shapes. So it's kind of like you have a little coloring book page to fill in with fun colors. This portrait I decided to use more pastel or neutral versions of colors, and I get that by using my color picker and picking like a warm color on one end and a cool color on the other end, or a light color on one end and a dark color on the other end. And when I open and tap the middle, I'll see those mixed colors. Next video, we'll add some patterns.